Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here, checking out the series. I do hope you hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week. It's a new one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So it's a great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover the new ones at all the usual places in podcast land, including iTunes and Apple Podcast, at Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, WFPK.org, YouTube for the video versions, or again, anywhere you get your podcast from. Subscribe to Kyle Meredith with. And that's me, Kyle Meredith. Today, we've got a very special episode because there's multiple people here. We're going to be talking about this new Apple TV Plus series called The Last Thing He Told Me. This was written by Lara Dave. She is an author that's behind such books as 800 Grapes and Hello Sunshine, among many others. And then she wrote the book and it became a New York Times #1 bestseller. She got together with her husband, Josh Singer, and he's also a screenwriter. You'll know Josh from movies like Spotlight, The Post, First Man. He's currently working on Maestro at the moment about Leonard Bernstein. And so they got together and they made this show, and it's let me read the log line for you. It stars Jennifer Garner as a lead character. She's a woman who must forge a relationship with her 16-year-old stepdaughter Bailey in order to find the truth about why her husband has mysteriously disappeared. It's a really good mystery, and it also stars Aisha Tyler, playing Jennifer Garner's best friend in this. So I've got Aisha on here too. Now, you'll know Aisha from a lot of things. She currently co-hosts Whose Line Is It Anyway? I know her as Lana from Archer, as many of you do as well. Of course, she had a great story arc on Friends back in the day. So we're going to be talking about how this whole thing came around, what it was inspired by. I'm going to ask about the music. There's so much good music in this. In fact, it's a great soundtrack. Some Springsteen right off the bat with The Ghost of Tom Joad, which really does a lot of foreshadowing. So we're going to be getting into all that. So without further ado, let's do this. We're talking about The Last Thing He Told Me, out now on Apple TV Plus. It's Kyle Meredith with Aisha Tyler, Lara Dave, and Josh Singer. Hi, Aisha.
Hi, Kyle. How are you?
Hi, Laura. Josh.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. Let me congratulate you. The Last Thing He Told Me is such a gripping and fantastic series.
Thank you.
Yeah. Laura, I'll start with you. I loved reading about how the seed of this comes from seeing the news brief about the wife of the Enron CEO. Why did it then become important for you to tell the rest of the story?
That's a great question. For me, when I heard Linda Lay on television saying, my husband's done nothing wrong, it sort of stuck with me in this way, like, something hits you and all of a sudden, like, okay, I need to understand why that's hitting me. And I became subsumed by the idea of, can we know the people we love? And what does it mean to try to know the people you love? But I only wanted to tell that story if I could figure out how to make the woman at the center of it the hero of her own life, not the victim of her circumstance. So I spent a lot of time between hearing that first interview and putting pen to paper to try to figure out, what is that hero's journey going to look like? And what does that mean at the end of the day? She's going to learn in terms of the answer to that question, can you know the people you love? Because I actually think her answer is yes, despite all the evidence to the contrary. And that was really what I wanted to sort of plumb there.
And for, a show that we don't know who we can trust throughout, it's when you get to, approach your role, does that give you a little bit more to play around with?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think for me anyway, I really wanted to lean into the mystery of this show. And I think even though it's a psychological thriller and so maybe a little bit more twisty than real life, it definitely felt very grounded and grounding to me because I feel like, we all meet people in our lives and we don't really know who they are. And honestly, you can't really know everything about someone and everything about who they are and where they've been, what they've been through. And I really loved that about these characters because in the end, that's a big thing. Like, Hannah's like, I don't know everything about Owen, but I know who he is at his core. And I think we're drawn to people because we feel like there are soul matches, whether they're friends or whether they're lovers. And we make a decision to love them regardless of who they have been or what they've done, So that was really fun to play and really fun for Jules, who's like, listen, I'm going to show up for you in the middle of the night, even though I think this guy is probably pretty shady.
Right. For someone who's directing more and more these days as yourself, how much of that experience now plays a part in how you enter a role?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I love acting, and it's nice to be able to step back in front of the camera. I'll tell you what, it's much more relaxing. It's not as stressful. But I think now that I've been directing quite a bit more, I feel like I don't think I was ever not a generous actor, but I think I always tell directors when I'm acting, like, listen, I'm just here to make your dreams come true. So, I'm going to do this a million times until you're happy and you get what you need. And then hopefully we'll do it one more time for good luck. And it was really nice. It was all women directors on this show, and it was great to be supporting them and giving them what they needed. And then also, like I said, then I got to go sit back in my chair and eat catering, which when I'm directing, there's no rest for the wicked.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say, and I'll throw this to you, Josh. Right from the beginning, I hear Springsteen singing "The Ghost of Tom Joad," which ends up being this great foreshadowing moment. How often do you think about the songs as you're beginning all the process as to tell the story?
A lot. We a lot. For me, I tend to be somewhat musical. I've been spending a lot of time. I co-wrote a movie about Leonard Bernstein, which is coming out this fall, and the music is central to it. We use all Lenny's music, and it's just central. And similarly here, we thought a lot about needle drops, and then we spent a lot of time with Denny and Sander, who were our two terrific composers, to sort of get a real sense of place and of mystery. And we actually developed this theme with them, which you hear in the first episode, and then becomes our theme, not only, in the main titles, but it comes back a couple different times over the course of the series. And I think winds up being pretty powerful. And I think music is really crucial to helping people engage with the show.
Yeah. Is there any reason why Bailey's favorite artist ended up being Emmylou Harris?
We wanted to pick somebody who would have made it into Hannah's worldview when she was, 15 in Tennessee and Peekskill, New York, and Bailey too would connect to today. And Emmylou Harris is just timeless. And we love that you mentioned the Bruce Springsteen song, because that song and the lyrics there, the foreshadowing about what's about to come, that was a true north for us from the very beginning, right from when we were writing that first episode. And there are several songs throughout the series like that were just something that Josh and I would almost write to and think about on set every day. We imagined it being a part of the show.
Yeah.
I also want to say this show has a fantastic soundtrack. I know you're a music fanatic, as I am. Do you ever try to influence the music?
They had such a great plan for this show that I had no input whatsoever. When I direct, I'm always like running around trying to get my favorite bands into a series. When I did Walking Dead World Beyond, I really was like a big advocate for getting some cool bands on that show. But on this one, I just got to lay back. I mean, it's such an amazing producing team, such a high quality group of people behind the show, and they have great taste. And so it's been nice to see the show come together.
I'll wrap with this. I know Kill 'Em All was your first album.
It was.
Is 72 seasons on your radar at all?
What? Say it again?
Is 72 seasons, the new Metallica, on your radar at all?
I've got to get it together. When I was younger, I had a lot more time for new music. But what I'm finding right now is I'm still listening to a James Blake album from 5 years ago. I'm like, I got to get it together. I love Metallica so much. And thank you for reminding me that I need to go out and get their new stuff.
I'm not kidding. It's one of the best things I've heard from them in a long time.
They're such a great band. I met them at Comic-Con 7 or 8 years ago in the elevator, and I think I squealed so loud that the last bit of hearing they had left was destroyed.
Aisha, thank you so much. Congratulations on this new series.
What
it's great
pleasure.
Talking to you.
So nice to meet you. Thank you. Thanks, Kyle.
Again, congratulations, you guys. What a fantastic series, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it.
Oh, thank you.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week, new one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All three of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.